Hello, Miranda. Today's episode is really, really good, okay? It is a 2-hour listen. And if you're new here, I refer to you, the listener, as Miranda. It's a famous television show reference which powerfully describes your personality, career-focused, ambitious woman. Got it? Let's move on. Today's episode is 2 hours long. It's a really good listen. It's a really good listen. We're having a conversation about moving through triggers. I go really deep into your childhood experience, helping you gain some understanding. I'm giving you a story time about what's been going on in my life because the energies right now are really, really intense. So first, we're talking about triggers, and all of that is leading up to a conversation about a specific trigger that I had around jealousy and the way that that trigger ended up expanding my understandings around what it means to be special in the lives of others, whether it's in romance or in career. Throughout the episode, I'm talking about 1,000,001 different things, okay? I'm talking about career. I'm talking about competition between women. I'm talking about safety and security. I'm talking about your childhood experience. Like, we're talking about 1,000,001 different things, but they all flow so beautifully into one another. And I couldn't stop the flow just because it was getting a little long. So this is a great episode to listen to in bursts, if that's your kind of thing, or just sit back and relax and listen to the sound of my voice for 2 hours, whatever. I don't care what you do. Live your best life. Love you. Enjoy it. Right now, you're listening to Naked and Noisy, Manifestation Tools for the Professional Woman. I'm Natalie Hughes, your host and your coach in this series. In each episode, I'm giving you the tools that you need to create the life you've always dreamed of without the soul-crushing sacrifice that you were taught to endure. Whether you're ready to be treated like the industry leader that you are, you're ready to be drunk in love with your soulmate, or you're ready to wake up to a closet full of Jimmy Choo every morning, this is the podcast for you. Okay, so we'll talk about insecurity, and we can apply it to career. We can also apply it to relationships. I'll probably be talking for a majority of this episode from the lens of relationships because this is what has come up within me most recently. This energy has been crazy. It's been fucking insane. Some of the most intense energy I have ever experienced. I was going to say in my life, which I guess, but specifically over the past several years, I have never experienced an eclipse with energy like this. And I haven't been paying attention to eclipses. We're not going to get into astrology. We're not going to talk about eclipses, but it's relevant because there's a lot of energy happening right now. There's a very strong energy that's happening right now. I'm not even 110% sure, but I'm pretty sure we just had a new moon eclipse in Aries. I don't even know what the degrees are, okay? I have not been getting into it super deeply, but I know what's been happening. I don't really pay attention to the eclipses because typically they do not impact me in this way. This energy has been crazy. So as I've been dealing with this heavy energy, it's been an incredibly triggering experience. And so maybe you're not into astrology. Maybe you're just a sensitive person. Maybe you are just wanting to learn how to stick out more, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just really giving you the backstory This is what I've been experiencing. This is what I've been moving through. This is what's been happening for me now, right? So you could be listening to this in 2025 and it could still obviously help and support you. So right now in my life, there's an eclipse energy that's passing. We're moving through energy. And we're moving through this incredibly intense energy. And it's been so triggering and so surprising. Like the triggers that have been coming up have been very surprising. Things that I didn't anticipate, things that I wasn't focused on, things that I didn't know were still issues that I had. Just things that were like blind spots, I guess you could say. Shit that I'm like, oh, I didn't even, whoa, okay. And I was going to try to make this like I was going to try to break this topic into multiple episodes, but I guess we're here so we can talk about it. This is one of those times where being an observer is the most beneficial thing in the entire world for you to be. And when I say an observer, I'm talking about like your feelings, your thoughts, and all of that stuff. But I don't mean that you avoid your feelings. I don't mean that you avoid your emotions. It's like you experience your feelings, you experience the sensations, you experience the triggers, you take note of the things that's going on, but you don't hold on to it. It's like you let shit go. You let shit flow. The best metaphor that I have, or simile, comparison, example, analogy, the best that I've got for you right now is when engineers or architects are creating buildings and they're making huge fucking skyscrapers, right? A penthouse apartment in the clouds is never on my list of desires because those motherfucking buildings sway and they're designed in that way, right? To withstand earthquakes and wind and all of this stuff. If you have an incredibly tall building and it does not sway, that bitch will break. So for what I think we would call like the structural integrity of the building, there has to be a certain level of sway. There has to be a certain level of flexibility. Another example is like a boat in the ocean. When things are turbulent and you're out at sea, the answer is not, how do I anchor into the ocean floor? The answer is not, how do I control the waves and what's going on at sea? The answer is that you kind of just keep floating on. You're moving with the waves. You're not fighting against the waves. You're not crashing against the waves. You're not going to war with the waves. You're flowing. So with this incredibly intense energy, that is what I have been doing. Just flowing. Observing, flowing, feeling, releasing, letting shit go, not holding on to shit. So sometimes when an old trigger comes up, or an old experience comes up, an old memory, an old hurtful event gets brought back up to your attention, you can hold onto it, latch onto it, make it grow and expand and become this humongous thing that it doesn't have to be. I'm trying to think of okay, fine. I'll give this as an example. I had an experience at the beginning of this year that was shitty and really, really bad. Not really, really bad, like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. This is a terrible, horrible problem. It just was emotionally and psychologically and mentally and spiritually fucked up. And then around that time, there was more mental, emotional, psychological, fucked up shit that was going on. The first quarter of 2024 was just a fucked up time. It was just a fucked up time. It was just a fucked up time in my life. So that happened. I was like dealing with this drama with a client. I was like dealing with this drama with this other old bitter bitch. It was fucking crazy. I was dealing with this other drama with this other client. It was just crazy. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? It was like just one of those moments where that's all that you can say is, what the fuck is going on right now? So that happens. Now, we moved through the month of March. We're in the month of April. We're coming into the month of fucking April. And it's like there's a fucking reprise, like the fucking drama and bullshit from fucking January, February comes back around. Oh, hey, about that thing that happened, this, and this, and this. Bullshit that doesn't have anything to do with me. Another experience, another dramatic experience with a different client of mine. Similar experience comes up again. And I'm pissed, like fucking livid. Because, girl, God, angels, universe, I thought we handled this. I thought we dealt with this. I thought we moved on from this. It's up and up only. They didn't get the memo. They don't understand what's happening. It's like that moment right there, you have the opportunity to do one of two things. You can either go, this is an old fucking story, playing itself out. Oh fucking well. Nothing I can do about it now. We're going to take what we have and we're going to figure it out. And we're going to handle the things that need to get handled. And we're going to make different plans. And we're going to move different things around financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We're going to make different choices and decisions. Like, it was just some shit that, like, and I'm not getting specific on purpose because I don't have to and I don't want to. But it was just some shit where it was like, there's nothing more that you can do. There's no physical action that you can take to change this. There's no amount of cussing people out that's going to fix this. You're going to deal with this person, have this experience until XYZ thing, until XYZ moment. I had an experience where, and this is getting a little bit more specific, something that I have dealt with previous clients, a pattern in my business, a pattern with my money and my finances, is when I had issues and difficulties with clients where maybe they weren't showing up and they weren't doing what they needed to do in between sessions to like actually get results for themselves, I would really take that personally and really be afraid that that was going to be a reflection of my value. If we're working together and you don't get amazing results, then maybe working with me is not worth the money. It's not good enough. And none of that is true. And we've had a conversation. We've had many conversations about value. I think one of them is up on YouTube. I don't remember the titles of these. Just go and watch and listen to anything I've ever created. You're welcome. So I had to move through that experience of feeling afraid of like, what if people don't get good results? What if my work isn't good enough because other people don't get good results? No, you don't fucking show up for yourself. You're not going to transform your life. I'm not a goddamn magician. I'm amazing at what I do. I'm incredibly powerful. My energy and my spirit are wonderful, amazing, incredibly valuable things. But if you have the energy, the content, the tools to transform your fucking life and you choose not to do it, you're going to continue to have a shit experience in your life. And that doesn't have a goddamn thing to do with me. Good luck, more power to you. Like, I can't fucking do anything about that. So when I was having those experiences previously in my coaching, if I had a coaching container with another person and the experience is just not a negative experience, like I'm not confident that I can help them, but a negative experience where they're not holding up their end of the bargain, in a previous pattern, I would respond by going like, you know what? Let's just end this coaching container. Let's just stop this right now. You don't have to continue your payments, blah, 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 blah. Fuck this. Get out of my face. Which I understand why I responded in that way. Because yeah, who wants to deal with that experience? Who wants to work with people who aren't interested in showing up for themselves? Like, yeah, that's so true. And at the same exact time, I was fucking myself over financially because I wasn't holding people to their financial commitment. So if I'm financially planning, this is what I'm doing with my money. This is how much money I'm making. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. And then something happens where I voluntarily am like, you know what? Let's end this container. Fuck it. You don't have to pay me anymore. Just get out of my face. I just want you to get away from me. Like, if I have that experience, it's nice and there's a sense of relief there, but that doesn't support me in being financially stable. So I had a similar experience, not an exact experience to what's happened in the past, but I had a frustrating experience. And so noticing myself in this similar pattern a year ago, I would have said, you know what? Who gives a shit? Fuck it. Like, had I been in this experience a year ago, I would have said, you know what? I don't even fucking care. Let's just walk away from all of this. Don't even pay me the rest of the money. Just never fucking speak to me again. Fuck off. Like, that's how I would have responded a year ago. And it's how I made a lot of choices in business, not just last year, but in previous years. There's been a lot of just experiences where I wasn't consistent with my own boundaries. I wasn't consistent with my own expectations with money. And when I'm showing up in this way, and when I have this just willingness to walk away from clients and containers, I create an experience where money is unstable for me. I create an experience where money can be inconsistent for me. Yeah, we've agreed that we're working together. Yeah, we've agreed that the container is this. Yeah, we've agreed that the money is supposed to be coming in XYZ amount of times over XYZ, period of time. We've made this agreement, but what if that doesn't happen? I created an experience. I allowed for there to be doubt around my money and my finances. So for me, the biggest difference with this thing happening, it was like, okay, first of all, there's no amount of cussing somebody out that's going to fix this. And there's no amount of physical action that I can take that's going to fix this. However, what is not an option for me at all is saying, fuck it, you don't have to pay me this money that you've agreed to pay me, that you agreed you were financially stable enough to be able to afford to pay me. Fuck that. Give me my money. Like, I'm so done. So because I had that experience and because I set those boundaries, that particular example ended up getting resolved. It didn't get resolved in the way that I wanted it to get resolved. Things did not happen the way that I anticipated them happening. I anticipated getting my money on the first of the month and being able to do XYZ different things with my money on the first of the month. And that did not happen. And that pissed me off for a million different reasons. And after I felt those feelings of being pissed off, after I processed all of that shit, I said, okay, there's nothing we can do about it now. What are you going to do moving forward? You're not going to do nothing. You're not going to have this experience where you don't get what you need and what you desire. Da 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 da. So I had to step into my power and call in money in a different way, handle some things, move some things around, just switch shit up and step into my power more. I realized I was having an experience where I wasn't in my power around my money and finances because I'm like, well, if people don't pay me, then I can't do this and this and this. And that's just never true. If somebody honors their agreement with me or not, that can get handled. But regardless, like legal shit aside, financial agreements aside, you're the creator of your fucking reality. You're a business owner. You have the capacity to make money. You have the capacity to generate income. You have amazing creative ideas. And so that ended up being a powerful source of inspiration for me in my daily routine. Now there's just this constant stream of me focusing on what creative ideas I have and what things I can create and what I can sell and what I can do and all of this stuff. So that's been great. That's my example of what happens when you decide to actually go with the flow instead of fighting it. I could have had the opposite experience where I could have said, what the fuck is going on? Why is this happening in my life? Why am I not being taken care of? Why am I not getting what I need? Why are the people not showing up for me? Why are the people not honoring their agreements? I could have gone on rants and tangents about this shit always happens to me. What is going on? Blah, 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 right? I could have told a whole bunch of unsupportive, unhelpful stories about me, about money, and about business, and it just wouldn't have supported me at all. So when you're having those moments, when shit feels incredibly turbulent, when you're experiencing all of these triggers, you have the opportunity to look at this negative shit that's happening in your life and to either go, okay, this is happening, I'm going to deal with it, I'm going to handle it, but I'm not going to turn this into something bigger than it actually is. And that's something for me that I've been observing within myself. I think the phrase like catastrophize things, I can really, really, really catastrophize things. Fuck. I have recorded so many podcast episodes and I recorded 2, but I have recorded podcast episodes and I just have not shared them or published them because of stupid little shit like that. Not like I'm stupid or I'm not a good communicator, but just little shit. Okay, and that's another thing. But hold on, let me finish the thought that I was finishing before I frustrated myself with my mouth and my brain connection. Okay. I grew up with a mother who felt unsafe. Okay, that's the best thing that I got to label that as right now. I had an experience where my mom was a single mother. And not only was she a single mother, but she's somebody who obviously experienced childhood trauma. So if you have an experience where you feel unsafe in your childhood environment, what happens? What is happening when you're growing up, right? From the ages of 0 to 7, 0 to 8, 0 to 10, 0 to 12, what the fuck ever. Different people, different researchers, it's always a different number. But what's happening in your childhood, in those early years, you are taking in information and you are developing beliefs. You're developing beliefs about who you are. You're developing beliefs about how the world is. You're developing beliefs about what's available to you. And so when you have one of those unfortunate experiences where one of your parents or both of your parents, if it applies to one of your parents, then it applies to both of your parents. And we don't talk about that a lot, that if one of your parents was able to abuse you and hurt you, then you don't just have one unsafe parent, you have 2 unsafe parents, because a safe parent, a safe, loving, responsible adult would have shown up and protected their child regardless. There's no such thing as, I had a really great dad, but my mom was the absolute worst. There's no such thing as, my mom was the greatest thing in the world and my dad was just the absolute worst. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't exist. You have an adult in your life that is allowing you to be exposed to something that is harmful to you, that is unsupportive to you, that's not a safe person. And so we're not having a conversation about safe adults and safe parents so that you can shame your parents and blame your parents and be angry and upset about them, like feel your feelings and emotions, whatever comes up. But we're having this conversation through the lens of the beliefs you're creating, developing in that childhood experience. So you're growing up in an environment and you feel unsafe because you have an unsafe parent. And when you have unsafe adults, unsafe caregivers, whether it's parents, older siblings, teachers, babysitters, cousins, aunts, uncles, you're growing up in this environment and the people in that environment are unsafe. What are you learning as you're learning about the world? You're learning that the world is unsafe. You're learning that the people of the world are unsafe. You're learning that the people who are supposed to protect you and take care of you and support you are unsafe people. This is a 2.5, but a lot of the people who believe a lot of really strong conspiracies, a lot of the people who really deeply mistrust their government are also people who are in a position of powerlessness where they're not taking action to create a better feeling experience or to create a better feeling experience in their state, in their county, in their country, or in the world because they feel powerless because of the negative experiences that they had in their childhood. So they're children who grew up in environments. We're just going to have to get through this. Oh my God. I feel like I'm not making any sense. I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm not making any sense. Like I know that I'm making sense, but I also feel like I am making absolutely zero sense. And this has happened in like every one of the latest episodes that I have created. And at this point, fuck it. Because, bitch, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. And the beat goes on. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so let me start from the sum of all of those points. My mother had an experience where there was an unsafe adult, where there were unsafe adults and unsafe people all over the world. So what is she learning? She's learning that the world is an unsafe place. And what I was saying about people who believe a lot of conspiracies is that they're people who have experiences similar to my mother, regardless of whether or not they, would identify with her life experience. They have an experience where they feel unsafe in their childhood home. They feel unsafe with authority. So if you're telling yourself the story that authority is unsafe, that authority is untrustworthy, authority is unsupportive, authority doesn't care about you, authority wants to hurt and harm you, of course you're going to believe certain conspiracy theories, and you're also going to be somebody who doesn't take action to create the positive change that you want to see in the world because you don't view yourself as an authority figure in your own life. You view yourself as somebody who is powerless. So it's a very sad and unfortunate experience that a lot of people in the world have because they grow up with unsafe adults. And it's one of the reasons why this work is so incredibly important. And when I say this work, I mean mindset work. I mean empowerment work, because not only do you have to be able to take care of yourself, but you have to actually be able to take care of your kids so that they can grow up and become people who are adults with a sense of personal authority, self-respect, a belief in their own personal power. That's really, really, really important. And one of the reasons why our country and world is in the state that it is in is because so many people are walking around telling the story that they're powerless because of their parents. So when you do this work to become an empowered person, empowered over your mind, empowered over your emotions, not in control of your emotions, not holding back your emotions, not resisting your emotions, not fighting against your emotions, but in flow with your emotions. When you become somebody who is empowered around your emotions, somebody who is emotionally mature. Emotional maturity is not, I never feel negative emotions. Emotional maturity is not an experience where you never experience anger or frustration or sadness or fear. Emotional maturity is your ability to process that, your ability to move through that, your ability to experience negative sensations, negative experiences, right? And bring yourself back to that state of calm. It's your ability to regulate yourself emotionally. It's so important that you're able to do that, because when you're able to do that, then you're able to teach it to your kids. And then you create a lineage of people who are empowered. And when you're empowered over your emotions and you're empowered over your mind, then you're empowered over your reality. You don't even have to have the spiritual understanding, but why wouldn't you want the spiritual understanding? Because it just makes it that much better and that much easier. So there's that on that. Now, let me get back to my point. My mom grew up in an unsafe environment for a lot of different reasons. We won't get too deep into it because it's not my life story to share. But as a consequence of my mother's lived experience, by the time that she gave birth to me, it was her third child. She is a single mother. There's drama at work. There's drama in family. There's drama in the relationship with my father. There's drama in the relationship with my sisters, the relationship with my sister's mother, like passive aggressive drama, weird shit, right? There's all of this drama. There's all of this negativity. Now, when you're a kid and you have a mom who is not able to self-regulate, take care of herself, emotionally support herself. When you're a kid and you have a mom, when you're a kid and you have a parent who is not being emotionally supported and taken care of and stable, that's fucking terrifying. That is terrifying, because as a kid, you're not born with the ability to regulate your emotions. You are not born with the ability to regulate your emotions. I know there's a lot of conversation about kids. There's talk in like parenting and like development world where people talk about the fourth trimester, and that's after your baby is born. And basically, there's just this understanding that human beings are not completely developed and fully baked when they're inside of the womb. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see a fucking cow or a horse, and when their babies are born, they just kind of drop to the ground, and then they get out of that little sack, and then they get up and they can walk around and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But human beings don't have that experience. So human beings are not born fully formed and fully functional and fully ready. And it's not that if human beings were perfect, then they would be born able to regulate their emotions. But it's about understanding that we're not. We're not born with the ability to regulate our emotions, but what we are born with is the ability to learn and the ability to observe. And we do that really, really, really well. So from the second that you're born, you're learning and you're observing your parents, you're learning and you're observing the world. Babies will have an experience when you're taking your baby around new people, right? Someone that your baby has never met before. And of course, this will like vary between ages and different shit like that. But when you're taking your baby around new people, or you're taking your baby to a new experience, your baby is going to be looking at you. They're going to be looking at your face to see how you're responding, to see how you're reacting. Your baby is looking at you, basically asking you the question, am I safe right now? Am I okay right now? Is this an okay thing that's happening here? Because I don't know. I think maybe we should be freaking out. Should we be freaking out? No, we shouldn't be freaking out. You're smiling. That person's a nice person. Strangers are nice people. I can trust strangers. Okay, the world is a safe place. We're safe. That was scary. I've never done that before. But the world is a safe place, and this is a safe person, and we're good. We're good here. Okay. Woo. That was scary, but we made it. You know what I'm saying? Like... Yeah, that's your baby's internal dialogue. Honestly, if it was my baby, then it probably would be their internal dialogue. Isn't that silly? Oh my God. Okay. Focus mind. So the point that I'm making here is that they're not born with the ability. We as human beings are not born with the ability to regulate ourselves emotionally and support ourselves emotionally, but we're learning. We're observing our parents, how they interact with one another, how they interact with the world. We're observing our siblings. We're looking at all of these relationships and what's going on to gauge how we should feel at any given moment in time. When you're a baby and you're having a negative experience and you're feeling afraid and you're feeling scared or you're feeling sad or you're feeling upset, you don't need to have a parent that's going, oh my God, the baby is crying. Oh my God, the baby is crying. Oh my God, my toddler is upset. This could be the end of the world. I don't know what's happening. I'm actually terrified. Is something going wrong? Something could be going wrong. I think there's something wrong with my baby. Why isn't my baby gonna stop crying? Like, when you have that experience where you do not know how to stay regulated, when you don't know how to calm yourself, when you don't know how to feel okay and understand that you're safe, even when other people are feeling unsafe, whether that's in the world or you're actually talking about your children, when you don't have that skill, you're going to freak out and your kid's going to be freaked out. Because in those moments when your kid's feeling scared or whatever, or your kid is observing you being scared, if you're not soothing yourself and you're not soothing your kid is never experiencing what that's like to be soothed. Your kid does not know what it's like to cope with I was going to say unhealthy and unsupportive, and none of those things are true about negative feelings. Your kid doesn't know how to manage negative feelings and emotions. Your kid doesn't know how to process negative emotional experiences. And then they turn to things like drugs and alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Which I drink and I smoke weed. So I don't think that those things are inherently bad. But when you're codependent, meaning when you're reliant on those external substances and stimuli to regulate yourself emotionally, that's not emotional maturity. That's not emotional safety and security. So you're a kid and you're relying on these big people. You're relying on these grown-ups in your life to learn everything about what it means to be a human being and about what life on this planet is like, all about and like. So when these people that you're looking to are constantly having drama, constantly having negativity, constantly having problems, just constantly, maybe you had parents who were fighting all the time. Maybe you had parents there was a passive aggressiveness that was going on. There's a, unspoken negativity that's happening and that's dwelling within the household. Nobody's talking about it, but everybody can feel that it's there. And maybe if you talk about it, then something negative is going to happen. Somebody's going to yell at you. Somebody's going to be upset. If you had an experience like me where you cried and you weren't acknowledged at all, you were ignored, or you had an experience where you cried and people yelled at you for crying. I definitely had that experience being around my older sisters. I was told many, many, many times that very infamous response to a child's natural emotions: stop crying before I give you something to cry about, right? Which is so emotionally invalidating and insensitive. You have these experiences in your childhood, and as a consequence, you feel unsafe in the world. Because what message are your parents sending you? Your parents are sending you the message that you're in fucking danger. Because there's always something going on. There's always some sort of negativity. There's always some sort of negative experience. There's always some sort of danger. And so my mom created an experience for herself in her life where there was always negativity, there was always danger, there was always something that could be going wrong. And I learned as a consequence that there's always danger, there's always negativity, there's always something that could be going wrong. It manifested in my adult life as well because it's something that I started creating, right? What you create in the world is going to be a natural consequence of your lived experience. So if you have those negative experiences with your parents, you always have a choice on whether or not you heal and do the work, but you don't really have a choice around whether or not you do the work. It's kind of like you do the work to heal your shit and process your shit and create a better pattern and create a better experience for yourself, or you live in suffering. Boo, throwing tomatoes, that sucks. Thumbs down, obviously. Who the hell wants that? So I've been observing within myself that I have this pattern of catastrophizing. And I really hope that that's a real word, y'all. I'm pretty sure that it is. And I hope that I'm using it correctly. And I'm also pretty sure that I am. So fuck it. If I'm not, then use the context clues. Use the context clues and follow me. Okay. So I've observed within myself my pattern of taking little things and turning them into bigger things. Like, I'll give you an example. So today, I was cleaning my tub. I was cleaning my house. And when I say today, I mean yesterday. I'm nocturnal right now. I don't really want to talk about it. I'm not very happy with my sleep schedule right now. But I was cleaning my house. And I'm like, okay, I got to do the dishes and I got to scrub my tub. And I was scrubbing my tub while listening to voice messages from my homegirl. And so I'm like, oh, okay, like, this isn't so bad. Like, I have time because, she's a yapper like me. So I'm just listening to her voice messages and I'm cleaning my tub. And I needed to clean the drain of the tub. I'm a girl who has long hair, and when I clean my hair goes down the drain, whatever, the drain gets fucking clogged. So I'm like, okay, I have some Drano that I need to, use, whatever. So I do the Drano thing, and then I rinse the shower, whatever. The shower's clean. And then later I go, and I think we just need to call a plumber because there's something crazy going on with the tub. But that's just a random thought that has nothing to do with you guys. So hours later, I go to take a shower, and when you use Drano, or maybe when you use any chemicals in the world, everything on the label is do not put this in contact with human skin. You get this on human skin, you will fucking die. You know what I'm saying? It obviously doesn't say that, but it's it's on the label, and for good reason. I don't think that you should pull out your Drano and use it as soap in your next shower, obviously. So I'm taking my shower, and the drain is not as clogged as it was, but it's still a little bit clogged. So the water is kind of pooling at my feet, right? And obviously I rinsed my shower well, and I didn't pour the Drano all over. It was literally just into the drain, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, everything's fine. Everything's okay. And then another part of my brain is like, but what if it's not okay? And what if the chemicals from the Drano are mixing with the water and your feet are actually being severely burned? What if, but what if it's actually not okay? What if something terrible and bad is happening to you right now at this moment because you didn't fully wash the chemicals away and it's touching your skin? You read the bottle. It's not supposed to touch your skin. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. We need to be a boat on the ocean right now. Because I don't think that that's true, that I'm in danger. And obviously I'm here. I showered, went to sleep, woke up. I've been awake for several hours now. I'm fine. My skin is fine. The shower is fine. Everything is okay. I made it out onto the other side. But I've observed, and I don't have experiences. I don't have experiences like that every single day of my life. But it's something that's been being triggered within me, something that's being brought to my attention. How many times over little things throughout my day do I wonder if there's something really terrible happening, wonder if there's something really bad happening, wonder if there's some terrible negative consequence that is coming. And a lot of people talk about this when they're having a conversation about manifestation, up leveling, creating something new in your reality, not because manifestation is some, magical thing, but because it's a new experience. And when you're creating a new experience with money, you're creating a new experience with your career where you're more respected, you're more sought after, you're more financially stable, you're more safe, and you're more secure. Creating an environment of safety and security can be incredibly triggering if you've spent your entire life feeling unsafe. Because the experience of safety and security is completely new. The experience of having sales and money coming in is completely new. The experience, like all of the experiences that I'm having in my business right now, it's just new shit. The experiences that I'm calling into my relationships, it's just new shit. And I can't believe I've been talking for the past 42 minutes. Oh my God, whatever. We might be here for an hour and 30, and that's okay because this episode is pretty good. All of the episodes that I've been recording lately have been good. Whatever, don't focus on it. So, I've observed that pattern within myself, and I can't remember for the life of me why I just shared that. What the hell was my purpose of sharing that with you? I know there was one, and I know that it was a really good one. I was talking about my experience with my mother and how I have noticed myself and my patterns of thought. I just don't remember what the ultimate point that I was going to make there was. Whatever. Take it back to the main point of all of the points, what I was talking about at the beginning of this episode. You have two options. Your options when shit is being triggered in your life is either to make shit a bigger deal than it is. I could have been in the shower. I could have been like, oh my God, it's going to burn my skin. I'm going to freaking die. And I could have like gotten out of the shower and I could have had a terrible experience and I could have called poison control and like, I could have just made it a huge deal. With the experience with a client and me not getting paid what I thought that I was going to get paid when I was going to get paid it, I could have made it a huge deal. How am I going to pay this? How am I going to handle this? How is this going to be taken care of? There's a lot of triggering shit that's happening. And you have the opportunity to look at shit and be like, okay, I understand that this is a scary, terrifying thing. You grew up having experiences where you were seeing scary, terrifying shit happen all the time. As an adult, I understand that my mom is just having an experience at the job where women are jealous of her and blah, 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 blah. As an adult, I can understand my mom is creating an experience where she feels unsafe in her relationships and in her life and in her job because of what she experienced in her childhood. I understand that as an adult. As a kid, I don't understand that. As a kid, it just feels like the sky is falling and there is impending doom and something really negative could be happening to us at any given moment in time, and I don't know what it is, and I'm not prepared for it, and I don't think we as a family unit are prepared for it because there's constant drama, there's constant fighting, there's a constant feeling of unsafety, there's a constant feeling of insecurity. That was my childhood experience, just constantly one thing after another. Some people would call this complex PTSD. There was just one experience after another of unsafety, insecurity, negativity, nonstop. And so you can create that experience for yourself as an adult with your focus, your mind, your thoughts. Because you've got a belief system, you've got a pattern of thought, you've got neural pathways that are so used to firing that your normal natural way of being is going to be to focus on the negativity and to blow it up and to make it a big, huge thing because you feel incapable of handling negativity. You feel incapable of handling negative experiences because that's what your childhood experience was like and that's what you observed within your parents. So my tip for handling all of that shit is to be like a skyscraper and to be like a boat in the middle of the ocean. You see the shit, you look at the shit, you feel the shit, you handle the shit, and still, You don't have to break. You don't have to downward spiral. You don't have to make it mean anything more than what it is. The client not paying doesn't mean that the money manifestations aren't coming in. The client not paying doesn't mean that things are not working. I can look back in hindsight and see that the client not paying really inspired a new level of creativity within me, really inspired me to open up in terms of my money and my finances and my business. Now I'm feeling more creative than ever before. I was going to say something, but then decided against it. So I can understand the positive consequences and how sometimes the turbulent shit is what's actually getting you on the right path. And you don't have to sit and experience terrible shit and be like, it's all a part of the master plan, even though you can. Like, if that feels good to you and that if that soothes you, then like, yeah, do that. But you don't have to have that outlook on life. You can just be willing to observe, and you can just be willing to say, you know what? I'm not going to make this a bigger thing than it is. And I've been having that opportunity come up a lot with this intense energy. The opportunity to make a triggering experience mean something more than it actually is. And I haven't been, which is fabulous. Like, very good job. 5 stars. Because of course you just, perpetuate your own suffering when you do allow shit to be blown out of proportion. And also it helps. I'm the lady who's going to tell you to feel your feelings all day, every day. It helps that I have a relationship with my inner being. So because I have a relationship with myself on a soul level, because I have a relationship with my intuition, because I have a relationship with my inner being, even when shit is happening, whether it's to do with my physical body, my money, my finances, my business, my financial responsibility, like no matter what's happening in my life, if I don't feel internally that something is wrong, then I know that I'm okay. And it is an intuitive thing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a smart thing. I think it's a smart thing to have. I think it's a gift that's alive within all of us. Your intuition, your feelings, what you know to be true without having any proof is a powerful, powerful thing. It's a powerful, powerful thing. Because when you're experiencing things that make you feel fear or stress or doubt or worry, and you have an awareness of the fact that there's a part of you, there's something inside of you that's like, I'm okay. That is such a powerful, supportive experience to have. And it's one that I highly recommend. So if you haven't yet, I suggest grabbing my 6 Steps from Stuck to Self-Aware bundle. I'm actually going to be creating a free vault, but it doesn't matter because I'll have the bundle linked in the show notes or the description. You can grab it. And when I create the vault, then it'll be inside of there too. But inside of that bundle, there's a meditation for feeling your feelings. And it's just a meditation that helps you to relax, allow those feelings to come up, and to start building out that story that it's safe for you to feel your feelings, because it is. Ooh, and I also created a meditation for a client last year that I might add into the free vault. Whatever, we'll talk about that later. So, I was going to talk about relationships at the beginning of this, but we're at 51 minutes, so we probably do have about 30 minutes left of talking. So I love this. Let's get into it. All of the triggers that have been coming up for me some to do in business, some to do with money and finances, some to do with my personal power, feeling really powerless in my reality, feeling powerless to get my needs met. That's what's been coming up for me a lot. And something else that was coming up for me that I did not, I was like, this is interesting. In romance, I have a gift. And some people call that gift being a Scorpio. Some people, how do you say? How do you express this to the people? I think my water sign girlies will get this, will understand this. And anybody can get this and understand this. Actually, my intuitive girlies, my sensitive girlies, my sensitive people, whatever. I have a gift, which sometimes feels like a curse. And that gift is being able to find on accident, just minding my own business, being able to find things that hurt my feelings. So I was looking up this guy on the internet because it's what you do. And I came across this profile. I wasn't looking for it. I was not trying. I was not efforting. I'm just la 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 la, minding my own business. Minding my own business. I'm just minding my own business. And then I come across this profile. And I go, oh, okay. And it's not even like, oh my God, I found out that this guy is married. Like, it's not anything like that. I just have an experience where I have a thing for finding like flings, ex-flings, girlfriends, romantic connections, crushes. If you put, 100 women in a lineup and said, out of these women, who wants this guy that you like? I could probably pick them out in a crowd. You know what I'm saying? If you put me in a room full of women with this man and you ask the question, and how many women in here have slept with him? And how many women in here have dated him? And how many women in here would be under the impression of belief that they've experienced a talking stage with this man? I would probably be able to point out those women with very, very good accuracy. So I am, looking up this man as I can do with my freedom, with my autonomy as a human being. It is my right. So I see this account, I see this profile, and I felt this feeling of being threatened, of being jealous, which is like, okay, I'm not upset about jealousy. I'm not upset about feeling threatened. I have a great relationship with my emotions, and I understand what jealousy and all of that is communicating to me and all that good stuff, right? And what's been really interesting about these triggers that I've been experiencing lately is that I've been laughing at them like uncontrollably. Like, I saw the account and I was laughing like I thought it was funny, and not like, oh, I'm laughing to keep from crying. Like, no, like just genuinely and authentically, like I just thought the shit was funny. I know why. Okay, and the reason why, no, I can't tell you the reason why. It's not a personal reason. It's just embarrassing. And I can't give all of my secrets, okay? Okay, Miranda, I feel like you'll respect that. So anyway, I've created an experience for myself where I laugh, especially in this connection that I have with this guy that we're not getting too deep into this, okay? But especially in this connection that I have with this guy, I have to laugh because I think the idea of me being jealous is just a laughable thing. I think it's a hilarious thing, and we'll get even further into why, but that's all the background that I'm going to give you for now. I saw the account, and at first I was laughing. I was like, ha 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 ha, having a great time. We're all laughing. And then at some point, the Fire Nation attacked. Like, and it's funny for me to say the Fire Nation because, yeah, we're in Aries season. There's a fuck ton of Aries energy in the sky. And we've got Mars in Pisces. I'm a Pisces sun. I've got an Aries stellium. So it's like all of this energy is being like super activated for everybody in the collective and also just for me in my personal life, right? This is just my backstory. So what all of that means, fire sign, fire energy, anger, being upset, being really emotional. The joke was funny until the joke wasn't funny. The joke was funny until the joke was not funny. Okay, I have to give a little bit more backstory. And I don't know, maybe you're going to like this. Maybe you're going to think it's funny. Okay, so the way that this happened was I was thinking about this guy and I got triggered because I once fell in love with, no, I can't say that. I once fell in love with a man who I was talking to one of my friends about this man who I really, really liked. And my friend was like, he's gay. And my friend didn't say that he was gay. I'm trying to be politically correct here, okay? He didn't say anything offensive. I was having a conversation with a gay man, and my friend who's a gay man was like, he's a little, And I was like, really? You think he's a little, And it was a very big source of insecurity for me in that connection. Not because there's anything wrong with being gay, but because there was this really big insecurity around my place in that man's life, what I was to him, what he felt for me, what he wanted with me. What I wanted in a relationship with him was very serious, and he was something that I will not say because I will not evoke a certain energy that will just bring down the whole entire mood of the thing. So we're just going to say he was blank and let's leave it at that, okay? We're just going to let the sleeping dogs lie on that one. So I had a negative experience with that man, and that experience was triggered again in this connection with this guy who I am very heavily entertaining the idea of being with. So, so that old experience kind of got really triggered, and I was thinking about that guy, and I was thinking about this current guy, and I was thinking about what I know about this current guy, and I was thinking about his natal chart. And I'm not saying that you can look at your natal chart and have a specific placement and that placement determine your sexuality, although yes, that is what I'm saying. Let me rephrase that. I'm not saying everybody who has Venus in Cancer is gay. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. And that guy doesn't have, none of the people in this story have Venus in Cancer. That was just a random sign, right? And there's nothing wrong with being gay. So I'm not saying that, but I am saying that your natal chart, your energy, your life experience, your desires, your wants, your sensuality, the things that you're into, yeah, it's in there. Especially when somebody like me, who's very psychic, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, yeah, I can look at your natal chart and I can tell you about your life. I can tell you about your life experience. I can tell you about your trauma that you've experienced, right? I remember one of my homegirls, Juliana, oh, love her to pieces. Mwah, heart emoji, sending you so much love. I literally love that girl. Anyway, she's Scorpio sun, Sagittarius moon, Leo rising. Love her to death. Love her to death. It's 3:33 a.m. Sending you love, Julie. I'm going to text her when I get done with this. Anyway, so I had a friend, homegirl. Her name is Juliana. And she was dating a guy, and she showed me this guy's natal chart. And I was looking at his natal chart, and I was like, oh, this guy's afraid of women. And just like all of these different, experiences and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, he probably experienced something like this in school, and that really negatively impacted him. And he feels this and this. And she was like, oh my God, that's so crazy, because we were having a conversation and he told me that when he was in school, he experienced this and this and this. And it's like, well, yes, of course that happened, because I'm incredibly great at what I do. And astrology is incredibly accurate. So anyway, I'm looking at this current guy's astrology. All right. You're following me, Miranda? So I'm looking at his current astrology, and I'm like connecting, right? It's me and my spirit guides. We're convening. We're having a meeting. We're looking at this guy. We're looking at his energy. We're looking at who he is. We're looking at his character. We're looking at the truth of his being. What's the truth? What's his truth? What's up with him? You know what I'm saying? And I look at his chart, and I'm like, I see him as somebody who I can't tell you. I can't tell you because we're all minding the business that pays us. And sometimes what's my business isn't your business, Miranda. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, I look at his chart and I'm like, I don't think so. I get the vibe that this is a man who very strongly likes women. I get the vibe that this is a man who very strongly likes women. I get the vibe that this is a man who very much appreciates women. Okay? Long story short, that's the vibe that I got. And so a song started playing in my head. And it's that song by Lil Wayne, and Drake is in it. And I do not like the ending of that song, nor do I approve of it. I never heard that song in its like fucking totality. Sick. Like, why would you ruin a completely good song by being weird and perverted? Anyway, I mean, the entire song is talking about, I wish I could fuck every girl in the world, but still, it's disgusting. At the end of the song, he's like one of the guys who didn't even need to be featured, like, sickening. He says something like, I wish I could do this girl and this girl and this girl and Miley Cyrus in a couple of years when she turns 18. That's sick. Sick. Boo. Throwing tomatoes. 0 stars. Yuck. So anyway, didn't like that part of the song. Strongly disliked that part of the song. But the other part, the beginning part, I like. And Drake's verse is really funny. And so I'm listening to the song and I'm having a moment. I'm laughing with my spirit guides. And I'm like, this is totally this guy. And it's a compliment. And there's nothing wrong with being homosexual. Personally, as a woman, I would like to date a man who is attracted to women, and I would like to be confident in that instead of dating a man who is not attracted to me. That's my only point there. So I like the song, and I'm like, this is so funny, laughing, having a great time. So that's how the joke began, which is so great and so fun. And then stop being funny. The joke stopped being funny. The joke stopped being funny. I was like, I love this man. I love that this man appreciates women in theory. And then I'm looking up this man online, and against my will, this woman's profile comes up against my will. And I go, okay. And then I felt very triggered and I felt insecure. So that was the backstory. Now we're back on the main story, right? I felt very triggered and I felt very insecure. And there's a part of me that was like, you should click on her profile. Like, who is this girl? Like, what's going on? And there's another part of me that's like, nope, close this out. And I've been playing this game with myself and my own mind, like setting boundaries with myself in my mind. And you know how they have that very popular song that was like maybe viral on TikTok or something, where they're teaching kids about boundaries. And the song is like, please stop. I don't like that. So I have this going in my mind where I'm like, I should not click this woman's profile. Please stop. I don't like that. Like, no, brain. No, brain. No. You're not allowed to do this. So I don't click the profile and I keep going about my day. And so I'm having this experience where I'm feeling jealous, but even in the experience where I'm feeling jealous and I'm feeling insecure, I'm still laughing and I'm still having a great time, which is one of the reasons why I really love being me. But we'll get to that later. Hold on. We're almost there. So I leave the profile and then I find myself back there. I find myself back there, but it's not that I went directly to the profile. I just found myself back at the place where I found the profile in the first place. And so I was really tempted. And I'm like, fuck it. Click on the goddamn profile. Like, let's just fucking see. And I am not trying to be anybody, okay? This is the Naked and Noisy podcast. And I have to be fucking honest. And I am a woman who has Venus, her, Venusian beauty, womanhood in the sign of Aries. Aries is Mars ruled. Aries is competitive. Mars energy, Aries energy, it's athleticism. There are winners and there are losers. And everybody is beautiful in their own way. And what I'm trying to say here is that I don't mean to be anti-feminist, fighting against women for the attention of men when I say this, but this is my personal truth and I'm going to share it with you because it's my podcast and it's my platform and I choose to be open and honest and real. And I think that you can respect that about me. So anyway, so I'm like, fuck it, click the profile because this is not a healthy dynamic. Any experience where you feel that feeling of being triggered, oh, I'm just going to run away from it. I'm just going to avoid it. That never works for me. That's not how I live. That's not how I suggest that you live. So if something is able to solicit a response like that from me, fine, fuck it. Look at the goddamn profile. And I was expecting, when I looked at the profile, to be like, oh my God, she is so amazing. We cannot beat this motherfucking team. That's what I was expecting when I clicked on the profile. And I clicked on the profile and I said, phew. I had to wipe the sweat from my eyebrow. I'm sorry. I'm funny. I'm being funny. And also, I'm telling you the truth because that is exactly what happened. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I'm also not sorry. And let me just put a pin in the story really quick. And let me just actually get into that really quick. What can I say? How can I say this? I don't think there's anything wrong with competition. And I'm not just talking about in romance. I'm talking about in life. I don't think that there's anything wrong with competition. I think that competition can be such an excellent way to boost your self-esteem. And I think that there's this very interesting and silly rhetoric around women and I'm trying to think of exactly how to word it. The way that people will talk about women's growth and expansion, whether it's in the workplace or in life or in the world, it's like, we're women. We need community. We're supposed to rise up together. There's no competition. There needs to be collaboration. And of course, I collaborate with women. I love women. I uplift women. If I fuck with them and I respect them, what's that? God, I'm so sorry. I'm quoting a Nicki Minaj verse, and she is like, not the poster child for like, please, please, God. But it's the best that I got. So there's a Nicki Minaj verse, and I don't know exactly, God, I don't know exactly what she says. She's talking about like other competitors, right? She's talking about other women who are rappers. And she's like, if these girls have bars, then I can rock with them. And she's like, but if they don't have bars, then I'm going to destroy them. What song is that? I think it's her song. I think it's her song, Itty Biggie. Fuck. I think it's her song. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, focus. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood, okay? It's her song, and the title of the song is Itty Bitty Piggy. That is the title of the song. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that. So if you know that, then yay. And if you don't know that, then maybe go listen to it. And what's the point? The point is that if I'm specifically having a conversation, and I'm going to talk about how there is no competition in a minute, but if I'm specifically having a conversation about career, there's a feeling of guilt. There's a feeling of guilt that you can feel when you achieve things, when you grow and expand things, when you grow past other women, when you do things that other women haven't done because you want to be a girl's girl, because you want to look supportive. I had an experience years ago with a fellow entrepreneur who was a quote unquote friend. And there were ways that she helped and supported me. And there were other ways that she was emotionally immature and manipulative. And, you know, at a time when I first created my business on my website, like the first version of my website, when you scroll through my homepage, I had my friends' websites linked on it and a little bio and a little blurb about them, right? And she's a woman who, she found me through my first YouTube channel. And she was in the comments of my YouTube channel going, oh, loved your video. Please check out my channel if you feel called, right? She was advertising herself in the comment section of my fucking video. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. We built a friendship. So I'm, you know, boosting her shit, talking about her shit all the time. She's so great. She's so amazing. I had an experience where, because I had low self-esteem, I would talk about all of the women who I was learning from or working with. Oh my God, yes, you have to work with her. You have to do this and this and this with her, because I didn't feel good enough and I didn't feel confident and I didn't have, you know, self-esteem. So anyway, I had that experience. And then over the years, when did this happen? This was like 2022. This is like the summer to fall of 2022. We had kind of been like not on and off friends. Like there was a fight between us, but just like sometimes we were more close. Other times we were more drifted apart, whatever. And as we were getting more close again, I didn't have that same experience. I wasn't the same business owner or woman that I was when I first started my business. Just because you're a woman-owned business or just because you're my friend doesn't mean that I'm going to share your shit all across my social media or in my personal life. And it's not about competition. It's about me being my genuine, authentic self. And I think there can be such a huge focus on we have to be together and we have to be girl power and we have to be community and all of this stuff that it can actually be crippling to a certain point because you're not being genuine and authentic. You're not being genuine and authentic when you don't like something that a woman's doing or you don't like her work or you wouldn't recommend her work because then you're jealous and you're competing against her. And why don't you want her to succeed? And actually, if you promoted other women's business on your platform, then you're communicating to the universe that you're secure in your platform and you're secure in what you have going on. And it's like, well, actually, bitch, I could communicate to the universe that I was secure in my platform and what I have going on by being secure in my platform and what the fuck I have going on. But I digress. So anyway, I had an experience where I was not promoting her shit like I was in 2019 when I started this business. And I didn't want to promote her shit. I didn't have the desire to promote her shit. I do not want you all over my social media. I do not want the association between the two of us with my audience because I wouldn't recommend your shit to my audience. I wouldn't recommend that my audience get a tarot reading from you. I wouldn't recommend that my audience buy a damn thing from you. I would not recommend anything to my audience by you because I don't like the way that you do business. She is somebody who does business in the psychic way of like God said no, right? She's somebody who years like at the beginning of my business in 2019, I left New York to come back to California because I left college, but I wanted to go back to New York. And so at that time, I had gotten a reading from her. This is like 2019 or maybe even 2020. I had gotten a reading from her about like moving back to New York City. And like, I really want to do this. I was feeling really insecure around it. I was feeling so much self-doubt around it and around like everything. And she's like, Spirit's saying no. Spirit's saying no. Spirit's saying you can go to New York to visit, but you can't go to New York to live. And that really, really crushed me. I was in a really vulnerable place in my life. I was in a very vulnerable place in my mindset, and experiences like that stupid shit are the reason why I don't like doing tarot readings and I don't like doing predictive shit, because you're the creator of your fucking reality. And if you ask me what's going to happen, you're wasting your time, you're wasting my time, when you could just look at your thoughts, and whatever your thoughts are, whatever is going on inside of your subconscious mind, that's what the fuck is going to happen. You want to know what's going to happen? Ask yourself the question, what do you expect? And there's your answer. Like, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, again, I digress. So I had that negative experience with her. And at the time, we had a mutual friend, somebody who, ironically enough, got into her world because I was promoting her all of those years ago. And that was in 2020. So somebody in my audience who was watching my videos, getting tarot readings from me, heard me talking about this woman, me raving about this woman, and ended up falling into that stupid fucking trap. So hate that experience. Like, negative stars, negative 5 stars, thumbs down, boo, we're throwing tomatoes on the whole damn thing. So anyway, we all end up coming back together, we're all mutual friends, whatever. My friend is working with this businesswoman, and my friend was planning a trip to Miami. And my friend's energy is all over the place, weak mindset, powerlessness, all of that shit, you know, standard shit that we all go through. So she ended up getting a reading from the business owner. And the reading that the business owner gave this woman while she's in this vulnerable place around this trip, feeling insecure, feeling all of these things, the message that the business owner gave our friend was Spirit saying that this trip isn't going to happen. And it's very interesting that Spirit says this trip that she wants to take isn't going to happen, but when she wanted to go on a trip with that business owner, you know, they did like a retreat thing, right? When she wanted to go on a retreat with that business owner, Spirit is on board. Spirit says yes. Spirit says it's a great thing. Yeah. It's very interesting how a lot of Spirit's messages that come through that woman are things like, no, Natalie shouldn't move to New York. Natalie should move to this state that I live in. No, you shouldn't go on this birthday trip that you want to go to Miami. You should do this thing that I want you to do instead. That's very interesting. And I don't, nope, we're done talking about it. What's the point? The point is, I wouldn't recommend that lady to anyone. I don't want a connection, a relationship. I don't want there to be a line between my business and that woman's business, period, point blank. And so she had sent me these candles that she was working on. And I'm like, oh, thumbs up. Great candles. Awesome. And I ended up telling her directly, like, hey, I'm not going to promote this on my shit. She's like, oh, I'm just showing you because I'm super psyched about it. Okay, cool. Great. And when we ended up ending our relationship and all of that, our relationship with the third girl, my relationship with the third girl also ended because you're a jealous person and da 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 da. Yeah, I was having a really tough time in 2022 with my business and my money and finances. And so, yeah, I was experiencing jealousy, but jealousy or not, I was never going to promote her shit because I don't believe in it, because I don't think it's good, because I don't believe that it's actually going to support my audience. And I have a responsibility to my audience more than I have a responsibility to you because you're a fucking woman. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. So anyway, that's my message that ended up going a lot longer than I anticipated going. The point of that is that I think competition is okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with competition. I think competition sometimes is seeing somebody who's doing better than you and being like, God damn it, I want to be better than that. And really kicking your own ass to get there and to be better and to be the best. I think competition can be such a powerful source of inspiration, and you can rob yourself of that by trying to have this fake ass kumbaya. We all have to like each other and we all have to get along. I don't like all women. Not that I think anybody should not succeed because they're a woman, but I don't. I don't think that every woman on planet Earth is pretty. I don't think that that's crazy. But I don't. And that's okay because I have my own personal taste. There are women in the world who don't think that I'm pretty. There are human beings in the world who don't think that I'm pretty. That's fine. It doesn't fucking matter what they think. It matters what I think. It's my reality. When you know what you like, you know what you don't like. When you know what you want, you know what you don't want. And if you don't want something, then you're being guided in the direction of what you do want. There's no such thing as, oh, I like everything. I like every color in the rainbow. I mean, technically, I do like every single color in the rainbow, but I have my favorites. I think that blue is an amazing color, but I don't think that blue is coming anywhere close to pink. You give me a choice between blue and pink, I'm going to pick pink every single time. You give me a choice between pink and green, well, it depends on the context. What am I doing that day? What is it for? Show me the shades. What's happening? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think that there's anything bad with comparison. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with saying, I don't like this or I do like this. And it doesn't make you a bad fucking person. And I really wanted to give a business example because I think that that's one of the most impactful ways that that's going to, like, one of the most important ways that that way of thinking can negatively impact you is feeling like, oh my God, I can't compete against other women. I can't be number one. I can't be the best. I can't want to be more successful than they are. I can't want to be higher. I can't want to do more, or I can't dislike what they're doing. Like, I think it's bullshit. I think it's a lie. So anyway, there's that. I see the woman's profile and I go to myself, like, I am so, Jesus Christ. She's a beautiful lady. She's a successful lady. She's a lovely lady. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. But when I clicked on her profile, it wasn't the profile of Natalie Annalise Hughes. And if you don't know, I'm Natalie Annalise Hughes. And when I saw her profile and I thought, phew, to myself, when I saw her profile and I felt a feeling of relief, I'm like, oh, I don't feel threatened by this woman at all. Not because she's not beautiful. She is beautiful. She is very successful. But it shocked me that I responded in that way because, like I said, I wasn't anticipating that. I thought that I was going to be super duper threatened. I thought I thought perhaps they, we were in for a downward spiral. I thought I was going to have a terrible night. But when I saw her profile and I responded in that way of not being threatened and actually feeling even better about myself, no, I don't like how that came out. It's not that I felt even better about myself, like, oh, this girl is so bad that I definitely have a chance. It wasn't like that. Like, she's amazing and she's successful, and maybe depending on the like measurement of success, she's more successful than I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that she's an unattractive woman, and it's not that she's not a successful woman, and it's not that she's not a like threatening woman. It's like she would have everything that she would have all of the parts to be threatening if I wasn't where I was on my journey. And that's the point of all of this. So I saw her profile and I was like, whew, like I'm actually not threatened. And then I was surprised because, well, the last time that I dealt with a guy that I was heavily considering having something serious with, that was an issue, that experience of jealousy, that experience of being threatened, that experience of being like, oh my God, it's all of these girls. And, like, you like attractive people. Like, what the fuck do you expect? You don't get into a relationship with a bad bitch and then get angry that they're a bad bitch. Like, you don't do that. You don't do that. So it's like, the last time I dealt with a man who was also handsome and attractive to women, I dealt with a lot of insecurity, and I dealt with a lot of feelings of jealousy, and I dealt with a feeling of just constantly being threatened, just constantly feeling like my place in this man's life could be taken by anyone or anything. And honestly, it's probably because he was, nope, let the sleeping dog lie. Let the sleeping dog lie. Let the sleeping dog lie. See, I'm good at that. I'm really good at that. I'm really good at not focusing on that loser. I'm really good at it. Okay. Refocused. So, what's my point? Here's my point. My point is this. I lost it. But the second time I told you guys, but the second time I said the word point, I had already lost it. Threatened, wasn't threatened. I was surprised. Oh, yes. By actually sitting with it and looking at it and handling it, I realized that a cycle was done. A cycle of being insecure was over with. I don't have that experience. I don't have that experience of being jealous. I mean, I don't have the desire to see the person who I want to be with other people. That's not something I'm asking you for. Jesus Christ, Father God, hear my prayers. Don't get too crazy. But I don't have that experience of comparing myself to other women and feeling like I fall short, which is an experience that I have had a lot for maybe my entire life, whether it was crushes in elementary school, guys I was talking to, dating, dealing with in high school, that guy those years ago. That was a constant story that was going on. I'm not wanted. I'm not good enough. I don't measure up. There's this girl and this girl and this girl and that girl is so much more beautiful. All that stupid shit. And it's not stupid because I'm judging myself. It's just stupid because you're you. You're fucking you. And now we get to my favorite part of the evening. You're you. Like, you're you. And I was sitting on the toilet earlier. And And I was talking to myself and I was laughing with myself and I was joking with myself. And I was just like, fuck, like, I love being you. I love being me. I love the way that I think. I love my mind. I love the experience that I have with myself. I have been triggered. Just constantly. Fucking exhausting, okay? It's exhausting. I've been so triggered so much. And I'm still laughing. I'm still giggling. Like a negative experience comes up. I feel the stuff. I move through the stuff. And then I'm like, but also, here's a way to look at it that actually makes me kind of want to pee my pants laughing because it's actually so hilarious. And so I'm having this experience where I'm just constantly giggling. I'm constantly laughing. I'm constantly joking with myself. I'm constantly joking with my spirit guides. I feel this love for myself. And it's not even just like a love, like, it's not a self-love like in a, I don't even know the word to describe it, like superficial, say self-love on social media because it's a really great buzzword and everybody's saying it. No, like I genuinely and authentically, I have a ball with myself. We have a good time here every single day. I don't leave this house. I don't leave this house. I love being in my home. Whether I'm watching Grey's Anatomy, listening to music, working on things in my business, creating new courses, content, landing pages, emails, podcast episodes, what the fuck ever. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm laughing. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. I'm connected with myself. I'm connected with my heart. I'm connected with my soul. I'm connected with my sense of purpose. I'm connected with my spirit guides. I'm connected with my ancestors. I'm connected with God. I'm connected with something so much bigger. I feel rich. I feel like there's this richness. And I'm not talking about financial wealth, even though, like claiming, receiving, born for it, made for it. Like, yeah, sure. I won't ever resist an opportunity to put that out there, fire that neural pathway. Yes, absolutely. But there's a richness of my character. There's a richness of my personality. There's a richness to me as a human being. And I personally love that richness. I love, it can only be described as a richness. Like, you know, when you're eating something, I feel like it's really rich. That's how I perceive myself. That's how I interact with myself. That's how perceive myself is enough. That's how I perceive myself. I perceive myself as somebody who's just very rich. There's so much to enjoy here and experience here. And as much as I've been having these triggering experiences these past couple of days and months, I am also having more laughter, more fun, more enjoyment. There's joy in my life every single day. I don't go a day without laughing. I don't go a day without giggling. I don't go a day without telling a joke. And it's not even, well, yes, there are people in my life, but it's not even that I'm telling the joke with other people. Like, I think this bitch is funny. Like, I think she's really hilarious. I walk around my house saying, you are so funny to myself. I walk around my house saying, you are a comedian to myself. Because I say the funniest shit. I come up with the funniest things. Anyway, I love myself. I could go on forever. What's my point? My point is, not only am I awesome and amazing, because I found myself comparing myself to other women, right? Seeing women feeling like they're really beautiful, and then asking myself the question, do I measure up to that? Not the woman in the story that I'm sharing with you, but just because I was kind of like, like, I expected to be triggered. And then I was like scrolling and saw like a really beautiful woman doing her makeup. And I'm like, oh, like she is so pretty. And I feel like she's more beautiful than I am. And so I kind of was sitting with that. And I'm like, how do you feel about that? And I asked myself, well, the conversation ended up becoming one about values. I looked at this woman doing her makeup in this reel, and she's beautiful and she's gorgeous and her makeup is fabulous and her eyebrows are great and her eyelashes, oh my God, she had these beautiful eyelash extensions. She was just a gorgeous lady. And I look at this gorgeous girl and I feel like she is more beautiful than me. And then I asked the question, not even like consciously asking myself. It was just like a natural next thought that came up. I was just like, well, but I don't really know her. Like, I don't know her. I don't know her sense of humor. I don't know what her interests are. I know that she does makeup. I know that she's great at makeup. I know that she's pretty, but I don't know her. I don't know what her values are. And it was at that moment that I started to understand in a deeper way that my perception of beauty and attractiveness, and I think we've talked about this in an episode maybe from season 1, where I'm talking about the kind of guy that you want. You got to change your type. You got to get the guy who wants more. So that's a great episode to go and listen to after this one, or go re-listen to if you have already heard it. Listening to it from this lens would be really great. So we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but I got a deeper understanding of my own perception of beauty and attractiveness and desirability, and also just like that energy of being special and being chosen and being worthy and being good enough and being irreplaceable. What makes somebody irreplaceable? That beautiful woman on Instagram. She is absolutely physically gorgeous, but I couldn't tell you her name. I can kind of vaguely remember her face. Like, I'm focusing on it and I can describe it to you. But if you put that woman in a lineup, I could probably pick her out. And I'm not being weird and I'm not being petty and I'm not being funny at all. I would be honest. I'm not somebody who has an experience where I'm like, oh, I'm secretly jealous, so I have to tear another woman down. I don't have that experience at all. I'm going to be real and I'm going to be open and I'm going to be honest. She's absolutely beautiful. First glance, I'm like, oh, you are so much more pretty than I am. Like, oh my God, so much more pretty. And I'm beautiful. She's just also incredibly freaking beautiful. And it's not like a pedestal thing. It's just like, oh, my personal taste. Anyway, what's my point? My point is that she kind of has one of those like, she's like a BBL beauty. I don't know what her body looks like. One of those very, maybe like she's like an Instagram model, beautiful. She has lip filler. She has eyelash extensions. There's nothing wrong with it. I just told you, I think she's literally like walking goddess levels of beautiful. But if you put her against, and not against like a competition, but like literally a lineup, would I be able to pick out that specific woman from a lineup of women? No. Would I be able to pick out her profile picture? No, because I don't even remember if I looked at it. I don't remember what her profile was. She's not somebody who I've seen a lot of, so I don't really have a personal relationship with her. So she's a beautiful woman, even more pretty than me, but do I like her better? Do I wish that I was her? If we had a Freaky Friday and I woke up and I was in her body, I'd look in the mirror, I'd say I'm beautiful, but Father God, take me back. Take me back. The time, energy, and effort that I put into cultivating her life, her mindset, her energy, her vibration. put all of that time into building that business. Father God, take me back. Like, yeah, no. Would I have the desire to be her? No. But do I think that she's beautiful? Absolutely. So what is my expanded understanding of beauty and attractiveness and what actually makes somebody special? It's your story. It's who you are. The things about you that can't be replaced. And I'm going to give you an example. I'm probably going to give you a million. The first example is Beyonce. Beyonce sings. Lady Gaga sings. Adele sings. Miley Cyrus sings. You put those women in a lineup, and I'm going to pick Beyonce every single time, even though there's music from those women that I love. There's music from those women that are great to me. But Beyonce is the musician who, during the global pandemic, when I was traveling the United States, I was driving in my car and I'm listening to the album Everything Is Love. And I'm listening to that song that talks about I'm good on any MLK Boulevard. And I'm going out of my comfort zone for the first time, traveling to new places that I've never been before. I'm going up north. I'm in Oregon for the first time ever. And I see Martin Luther King Boulevard. And I'm like, what the fuck? I did not know that there were Martin Luther King Boulevards outside of California. Like, I don't know. I knew that there were Martin Luther King parks, and that's where a lot of people go. And there's a lot of people who like do drugs there. And like, that's what I knew. I don't know. I thought it was like a Southern California thing. I don't fucking know. But I got to Oregon, saw that, and I'm listening to their music. And so I put on the song, and it was this feeling of home, this feeling of safety and security. And I have Cancer on the cusp of my 9th house in astrology. Cancer is like a feeling of home, and 9th house is like travel, like, you know, long distance travel. And it's also spirituality. So yeah. Anyway, so I got this very strong feeling of home and this very strong feeling of safety and security. So I'm traveling across the United States multiple times during 2020. It's a global pandemic. There's fear. You go to the different stores, different grocery stores, the shelves are empty. You can feel that fear. It's palpable between people. Everybody is, you know, keeping their distance and all of that stuff. And I have Martin Luther King Boulevard, and I have the Everything Is Love album. And I have Beyonce and Jay-Z blasting through the speakers of my car saying, I'm good on any MLK Boulevard. I'm good. And I felt good. And I felt supported. And it wasn't just, I'm good because Beyonce and Jay-Z said that I was good. It was how safe I felt being out there in the presence of God. And, you know, God speaks through art and music and everything. So there's no artist on the planet who could ever take the place of Beyonce. There's no album on the planet that could ever take the place of the Everything Is Love album, because there's nothing in the world that would ever be able to go back in time and be the song that did that for me at that moment. You know what I'm saying? There are other amazing songs. Renaissance came out a couple years later. Renaissance is an amazing album. So many great songs. Cowboy Carter is an amazing album. So many great songs. But none of those albums and none of those songs helped me to feel safe and secure at one of the most vulnerable, sensitive times of my life, when I'm traveling by myself, making money as I am, you know, going places. There was no concrete proof that I was going to go live on YouTube and people were going to show up and buy tarot readings from me, and I was going to get the money that I needed for food or for gas or for my next Airbnb. Like, there was no guarantee that money was going to come in. So it was a very vulnerable, sensitive time for me that I needed support and I needed comfort. And that album and that song and those artists were that comfort for me. There is nothing that could ever change that experience. There is nothing that could ever replace that experience. There are different experiences. There's Cowboy Carter, there's Renaissance, there's the song Tyrant, there's the song Church Girl. That was my most listened to song in 2024, 2023, probably both of them. You know what I mean? Like, I love those albums. But Everything Is Love has a special place in my heart because of that experience. So when we're having a conversation about what makes something special or what makes something beautiful or what makes something stand out, it's not about how much of an amazing singer that Beyonce is. And I'm using this as an example, right? It's not about how much of an amazing singer that Beyonce is. It's not about how much of an amazing singer that Taylor Swift is. It's not about how much of an amazing lyricist that Taylor Swift is. The reason why you love Taylor Swift so much is because of how you felt and what you experienced and what you were going through when you heard that Taylor Swift song in that specific way. It's because of what you were going through and what that helped you heal and how that made you feel seen and how that made you feel supported. What makes something special is excuse me, what makes something special isn't something that can be measured, because it's individual. It doesn't matter how beautiful a woman is. I would never choose another woman on planet Earth over myself because, no offense, you're beautiful, but I don't know you like I know her. I don't know you like I know her. I don't love you like I love her. I am in love with this girl. She's amazing. I am in awe of her. Like, she is the shit. So my understanding of attractiveness and my understanding of beauty and my understanding of importance is deepened when I understand that it's less about how beautiful somebody is and it's more about the context. And I'll give you one more example. So there's this boy. He's a man, but you know. And I saw a picture of this guy. And I think it's kind of unfair to use him as an example because I think he's a very attractive man. I think he's a very attractive man. So I kind of sort of believe that out of everybody in this picture, a lot of people or most people would probably be like, oh yeah, this is the most handsome guy there. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Well, you know what you like. You know what you don't like. Whatever. It's just my opinion. So I see the picture of this guy and he's with these people and his energy just stands out to me. He just stands out to me. His energy, it's like, you know, what those children's books where they have the different textures and you can open up the book and it's like a picture, like let's say it's like a picture of like a furry animal. And so it'll be like a flat picture of this yellow monster, furry monster animal. And then there will be like a patch on that picture and it's like actual fur. And you can get that kind of like sensory moment, you know, for your kid. You look at this picture and it's all one picture, but this fur stands out on that picture. This is the best way I can explain it. He stands out to me in a sensory way. It's something about his energy, his vibration, his heart, his soul, his energetic signature is very unique individual. And it stands out to me. So when I look at the picture, this man stands out to me. I think he's the most attractive man here. And I think that the other men pale in comparison. And Father God, I pray to you. I pray to you that those other men don't ever hear this podcast. Not because because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So hope that nobody ever hears this shit. Anyway, so I see this guy and I think that he's handsome. And I think that he's the most handsome guy in this picture. And I think that his energy stands out to me so strongly. And I realized that this man, no matter how this relationship connection unfolds, he is somebody who can never be replaced in my life. We're not saying, oh, if you have a love and it doesn't work out, you're going to be sad for the rest of your life. It's just this particular person, this experience can never be replaced because of how this man showed up in my life and because of how our lives were kind of interwoven and connected. And I'm not going to go into detail. But the way that our lives were kind of interwoven and connected, and the experiences in my life that line up with him, it's impossible for another human being to be what that man is to me. Regardless of what happens, it's just not possible, because it's just not possible because I'm trying to think of how exactly to put it into words. No other human being can go back in time. It's the Martin Luther King Boulevard experience. There's nobody else in the world. There's no other song in the world that I could have listened to in that moment to feel that feeling of safety and security that I felt at that time in that way. There's no other artists that could have done that for me. I was not listening to Jay-Z when I was a freshman in high school. I mean, I wasn't, but when I was a freshman in college. But when I got to New York, his album, 444, had come out, was coming out, whatever. It was everywhere. And it was very relevant to me because at that time in my life, that was the first time that angel numbers were stalking me. Oh my God. So I'm having this spiritual awakening and I'm seeing angel numbers everywhere. And Jay-Z has this album. And so I'm seeing Jay-Z's album advertised everywhere. I'm in this new place doing this thing that I've never done before, going to college. And these angel numbers are making me feel safe and seen and connected and supported by God. And in that way, Jay-Z and his music, it's almost like a seed was planted. And then I started becoming more of a Beyonce fan. Like, I was already a Beyonce fan, but not like, oh, that's my girl, I'd listen to her every day, I was becoming more of a Beyonce fan when I was in college. And when that album came out, it was a very significant time in my life. And so that album was something that brought me a very strong sense of safety and security and comfort. And the point is, I can't believe we have talked for 2 hours today, but I haven't published in a long time, so I feel like we're having a good time, and I feel like you missed me, and I missed you, so we're here, and we're yapping, and it is what it is, and we're almost done. So There's nothing else that could ever take the place of that album in my life. And there's no other man who could ever take the place of that particular man in my life. And that's just that on that. And so if I'm having those experiences, then I get to be that for other people. And that just makes sense. And the way that you apply this in business and romance and relationships is that there's a lot of people who teach about manifestation. There's a lot of people who teach about mindset. There's a lot of people who teach about money. I'm not looking for new mindset money coaches because I've found my people who I like and I like what they have to say. And I'm focused on learning and mastering and all of that stuff. And if I had more questions and I was asking more questions that they couldn't support me with, then sure, I'd be open to new people. But I'm not, because I have my people. What makes these people special is, of course, who they are and how they talk and how I am able to connect with them and their stories and their personalities. But what makes them special is that they were the first people to introduce these ideas to me. Nobody else can take their place. Nobody else can take the place of the person whose podcast I was listening to when I was taking walks in my neighborhood trying to figure all of this shit out. These people are special to me because of how I have felt in their presence and how they have supported me and how they have helped me and how they have uplifted me on these different points in my journey. That makes them special to me. That makes what they have to say special to me. That makes it like resonate in a deeper way to me. It's like a sentimental thing. I think attraction and I think beauty and I think being wanted and I think being desired is more of a sentimental thing when we're having a conversation about genuine, authentic connection. If we're not having a conversation about genuine, authentic connection, then maybe only the physical matters, maybe only the superficial matters, but that's not what you want. You're not in my world wanting superficial shit. So that means nothing. That literally is so irrelevant. You want genuine, authentic connection in your job, in your career, in your industry. You want people to genuinely and authentically connect with you and your brand. Then what's going to make you stand out is going to be something that's sentimental. And it's not intentional. Go back and listen to the Je ne sais quoi episode. You don't have to try hard. You don't have to do something on purpose to stand out. It's you being your natural self. And your people finding you and your people resonating with you for whatever reason that they resonate with you. You're going to hit them in a very sentimental way. It's going to move them emotionally. You're going to stand out to them. You're going to be irresistible to them, and you're going to be the person that they pick out of a lineup because of how you made them feel. And that's something that you don't force. It's something that you can't manufacture. There's a Beyonce lyric. She says, "Nothing real can be broken. And nothing real can be manufactured." You know what I mean? It's one of those things, my favorite phrase right now. It's in you. It's not on you. It's who you are. I believe that you were equipped with everything that you need to carry out your destiny, your every desire, your heart's desire. It's in you. It's who you are. So the ways that you're going to touch people are not going to be by something that you do trying to do something, trying to please them. It's going to be something that is normal and natural to who you are, and it's easier in that way. This particular guy who I'm not talking to you about, who I'm not going too deep with you about, I could have never, it's like I could have never consciously thought up or created this experience. And I look at my life story and I realize, wow, I understand exactly how you created that and called that in and made that happen, and why your soul would make XYZ different choice. And it's crazy and mind-blowing, and we're not discussing it, but it's just something that is. What if it was just something that is? And that should be a feeling of, it should create a feeling of ease within you, relief within you. It's just something that is. The thing that's going to attract your people, the thing that's going to help you stand out to others, the reason why people are going to buy from you, the reason why people are going to work with you, the reason why people are going to buy your shit, the reason why people are going to be ride or die fans for you. It's going to be something that is. It's going to be something that is unintentional to you consciously, but, intentional on a soul level. It's like some parts of the details have already been handled. Maybe God already handled all of those little bits and pieces, the things in your personality, your desires, your creativity, your perspective, the conclusions that you come to, the things that you want to talk about, the things that you want to give to the world, the things that you want to share, the way that you want to share them, the frequency, I said frequency, and then there were a million different ways that I could take that sentence. How often you want to share. What if all of that was just something that was in you? And what if it was perfect for your people? What if it was just going to be perfect for your people? What if it just is? What if it just was? What if everything about you, whether it's your body, your personality, your dreams, your goals, your desires, the way that you are, how intense you are, if you're like me and you're an incredibly intense person, what if it just was, and it was just perfect the way that it is, and it was just, you were just perfectly equipped with everything that you needed to get everywhere that you wanted to go, to create everything that you've ever wanted to create. And I hope that that creates a feeling of relief within you. A feeling of like full body sigh. Fuck it, I'm a girl who can talk for 2 hours, who wants to go from one topic to the next in one single podcast episode. And I'm going to trust that my people out there in the world, there are women out there in the world who want to have a podcast going while they're working out at the gym, who want to have a podcast episode going while they're cleaning their house, while they're on a road trip, while they're on a plane, going to Spain. Shout out to you, Jordan, if you're listening to this on the plane on the way to Spain. If you are, you have to screenshot this and text me right now. Send it to me or let me know, because that would be fun. But seriously, I think you'll create a lot more peace for yourself. if you let yourself be what you are and really trust that your people are going to resonate with it deeply. Okay, so we have to wrap this up now. Quick summary. What was I even just talking about right now? The point of everything that I've just said around the relationship and sticking out and being who you are is, well, first of all, I was sharing kind of my own personal experience around feeling triggered and then being pleasantly surprised that I was farther along in my journey than I thought. And also earlier in the episode, I shared about how sometimes you experience triggers and you end up being inspired to go farther, to go deeper, to challenge yourself to think differently. So there's so much opportunity for transformation, growth, expansion, and empowerment around being triggered. And then further on into the episode, we're having a conversation about, we have had a conversation about your place in people's lives and what it means to be special, and how a lot of this shit is just sentimental. It's emotional, like we talked about in the Je ne sais quoi episode. The thing about you that stands out is how you make people feel. And the reason why you're going to move people isn't because you tried hard, isn't because you listened to somebody else's instructions about what you should do or how you should behave or who you should be, but it's because you allowed yourself to be who you just are. And this is really amazing if you're willing to understand and believe that you were created enough, that you were made enough, that God loves you so much that he put everything that you would need to reach your goals inside of you. And he created you in this reality and set things up in a way where you could naturally attract the right people, places, things, experiences, and scenarios. You could naturally be who you needed to be to reach your destiny. That's a really supportive belief to have. It's a really good feeling experience to have. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a 2-hour long episode, so I highly suggest listening to this multiple times because we kind of talked about 1,000,001 different things. Also, speaking of different things and new options, I am now opening up for one-on-one coaching sessions again. It's not going to be a package with a closing date, but you can head to the link in the show notes or in the description on YouTube and book a session with me. I don't have the landing page done yet. So those are all that's the best information that I could give you. But if you want a session with me, you can book one in the link, using the link in the show notes or the description if you're on YouTube. Okay, I'm done now. I'm done speaking now. I love you so much. I loved this conversation. This was so good. And I will talk to you in the next one. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you laughed, learned something new, or just loved the time we spent together today, please leave a review of the podcast so that it's easier for the other Mirandas of the world to find it too. And if you want to connect with me between episodes, I highly suggest joining our free Facebook group using the link in the show notes. Love you lots, and I'll see you in the next episode.